Ooh, look. Slytherin. Ooh, take that, Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling's upset that I bought that. Anyway, you're about to watch or listen to Richard Herring's Leicester Square Theatre podcast. And I'm going to tell you how you can help us out a bit. It's free, but if you want to subscribe and buy a badge, you can really help us make loads more internet stuff. If you go to gofasterstrike.com/badges, you can make a one-off payment in return for a badge or no badge, or preferably if you could pay like £1 or more a month, you get some amazing things. First, you get a badge that will entitle you to 30 seconds conversation with me in any circumstance. I could be at a funeral, I could be arguing with my wife. You can show that badge, and I promise to give the bearer 30 seconds of my time. You get access to a secret channel of extras with behind-the-scene questions from here, little bits of stuff that's gone wrong, like when we've done adverts for this that have gone wrong. Never happens. And loads of other stuff. 3, you get entered into a monthly draw, which gives away fantastic prizes like signed scripts and junk that I get sent in the mail from other companies and stuff. It's priceless stuff. You can put it on eBay and you'll get like 20 quid or something. And one person a month will get that. And there's only about 1,000 people subscribing. That's much better odds than the National Lottery. 4, you get ticket offers and priority warning about when brilliant guests are coming up, so you can buy tickets to come to the Leicester Square Theatre. And 5, your £1 or more a month will pay for more internet comedy. None of that money comes to us. It all goes back into making more RHLSTPs. We're hoping to make a monthly auditorium, and whatever else we can afford to do. If you all gave £1 a month, we could be making some fantastic stuff. It's up to you. If you like this stuff, you can give money. If you don't have to. Just tell your friends about it if you like, and maybe they'll give money because they're not tight pricks like you. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Leicester Square Theatre. It's been over a week since he did that half marathon, yet he's still stiff. I don't understand. What's happened? Will you please welcome Richard Herring? Thank you very much. Love to see you all. You're much better than last week's audience. And, quite a lot of last week's audience have left. Welcome to... kept all the rest hidden, locked inside. Welcome to Richard Herring's Leicester Square Theatre podcast, or as some of the very cool people have started to call it, RHLSTPs. There's nothing cooler than a man yelling RHLSTP at the top of his voice. We've got some of the usual suspects here in the front, nearly all the usual suspects. I'm not sure about it. Do I know this guy so well? Hello. You were here last week. Did I talk to you last week? Because did I say that you've got a face like one of the characters from the game Guess Who? Did I say that? Because I've got a very neat beard. Has he got a beard? Yes. Okay, so we'll go into the second row where there's some likely-looking lads in the second row here. What's your name, sir? Anthony, is this what is passes for fashion nowadays for the young people? A hat on, a hat, a T-shirt with dinosaurs. Is it dinosaurs on it? Are they all different dinosaurs? You're not a cool person, are you? I thought from a distance it looked like it was marijuana leaves. I thought, he takes drugs, he's cool. But it's a man with dinosaurs. You are the 21st century Ross from Friends. That is what we go. What's your name? Anthony. Yeah, sorry, you did tell me that. I ran a half marathon 8 days ago. What are you this? Are you a paleontologist? Yes. And you like to come out wearing... Because, I come out wearing just red noses all over my T-shirt. What do you do for a living? They wouldn't let you into the paleontology department looking like that. What, do you have a job? Do you even have a job? Sorry, what? I've gone a bit aggressive. Sorry, I've got a bit aggressive with an old... What are you doing in my front garden? Get out of here! What, you're freelance? Sound engineering. How'd you find the sound here at the... Bit off. Bit off, George. George doesn't do the live sound. It's a bit off at the back. That's what George, who does the sound, was saying. He got a review on iTunes. Was it on iTunes? Netflix. because someone said that they liked the sound on one of my DVDs. He's very pleased with himself. And what's your friend's name? What's your friend or lover? Lover. Andrew. That's nice. You look so free. You're so free. No, I'm picturing the two of you together now, and I like it. What do you do? In fact, I'm getting you involved in a minute. You're like Rowan Atkinson. You're watching in the corner. That's what he does, right? Yeah, we all know about him. Do you work in the sound? I'm really hoping, because there's three of you, one of you's going to, I work in sound, I work in sight, and I work in speech. And then we can do the three monkeys with their hands over there. Again, I thought that was much cleverer than the audience. I thought that was genius. What do you do?
I'm a mechanic.
You're a mechanic? That's good. What, like with cars and stuff? Yeah. Could be other kind of mechanics. I scraped the underside of my car on a paving slab the other day. Anything you can do for me to help with that? Right off. What happened in Edinburgh? I've been driving around quite. You're not very good. And what's the third monkey? The third monkey with his hands over his balls. What's your name? Jack. You're saying like Jack though, so it is Jack though, right? You're just very posh. You're really posh, or you've got a speech impediment on your own name. Jack. Can I call you Jack? Yeah, okay. What do you do, Jack?
I work in a shop.
You work in a shop? Is it like Prince Charles's shop with all his farm produce? What shop is it?
It's called Your Store.
Your store? Is it my store?
No.
Where is it? Where's your store? Is it like it sounds like a chain. I've never heard of that.
No, it's new.
It's a new chain.
It's a concession in Top Man and Top Shop.
Oh, it's in Top Man. Yeah. They get discount on the clothes. Is that? Yeah. You are the worst dressed out of all three of us. What are you charging in your lap there as well? What's going on? You've got like a massive battery, and you charge. What are you doing down there? It's like you've got like a bomb down there. It's right there. It's going to blow. He's the underpants bomber, but he's wearing a bomb outside of his underpants. Doesn't want to spoil his underpants. I think I'm doing a great job in my head. So that is the main thing. And what we're going to do with that is after the show, we're just going to dub in loads of laughs over all the things I said there, and I will look really good. So before I do fall asleep it's incredible that I'm still standing. It's incredible that I'm still alive. I did say the other day, I kind of hoped I would die doing the half marathon because you make lots more. I've only made about 800 quid on sponsorship. If I died, it could be up to £1 million by now. In a way, it's selfish of me to have stayed alive. Think of all the money, Scope. What Scope could have done with that money if I'd just died on the run. But oh no, Richard Herring, you had to stay alive, didn't you? Okay. Fucking this audience hates me. My wife's only 13 years younger than me. Not Steve Coogan's girlfriend's like 24 or something. Have a go at him. It's all right. He's gone now. We've got the tape. Will you please welcome? Oh no, I'm on. It's all falling apart. I'm on Jenny Eclair's page. I was going to introduce her as Jenny Eclair. That would be terrible. It's podcast 51. Will you please welcome a woman who's best known as playing the general public in Hello Panda. That's why we're all here tonight. Will you please welcome Sara Pascoe, ladies and gentlemen? Sara Pascoe. Sara Pascoe. Come on in. How you doing? She's got Snoopy's on her T-shirt. That's cool. That's a more of a dress.
I got this dress heavily on sale, right?
Did you?
I saved £180. It was £210 in Urban Outfitters, and I got it for £30. And on the way here, I was saying to my boyfriend, I got this dress for £30, and he was like, "That's all it's worth." Why are you bragging about that?
So tell us about Hello Panda.
Hello Panda.
You were the general public.
I was an extra, a supporting artist, they call them. So, do you know Carrie Lloyd?
Yes.
So, Carrie Lloyd is my best friend from university, and her husband, Ben Blaine, is a filmmaker, and he made a short film, which was then picked up by Channel 4, it's not Film 4,
okay,
for funding, and I was in the background. And I got chatted up by Neil Edmond. Do you know Neil Edmond?
I do know Neil Edmond.
So my only thing was to be on a stool and not laugh while he chatted me up.
Oh, see. You got chatted up in the film by... I thought you were just going to go, while I was backstage.
Also, backstage, you got chatted up by Neil Edmond. Do you know him? What a player.
Is he in the thick of it? Is that why people will know him from? Or is he not? No,
I don't know that he's in lots of things. He wrote that
things.
wonderful sitcom on BBC Two with Emma Fryer, Home Time.
Yeah.
No.
No one knows who he is. I know who he is.
You'd recognise him. He's in lots of things.
And who played the panda?
Benedict Wong.
Wow, okay, so there was someone, a man dressed up as a panda.
Yeah.
Who said hello to the panda?
No, so a different man was dressed up as a panda.
Okay.
The man he'd been in Gorillas in the Mist. He was the most famous person on set. was the guy who was inside the panda.
Okay.
And
when you say that.
But it's a film about Neil Edmond trying to get semen from a panda.
Okay.
That's what the
It
film...
sounds like Michael. I'm definitely going to watch. You know, I don't do much research. I just look on IMDb. But now I'm going to watch that one. That's pretty good. Now the main thing I want to talk to you about. Is that your dad was the vocalist with Flintlock.
Yeah.
Which most people won't know, and
Well,
they won't know what I'm talking about.
The thing is, even at the time, they weren't that big a band.
They were massive.
They were massive.
The guy was in the Tomorrow People.
Yes, Mike Holloway was in the Tomorrow People. Yes.
The original Tomorrow People, which was my favourite TV show. John from the Tomorrow People. Who remembers him?
No one.
So, do you remember the bloke who was in some of the... He came in Tomorrow People quite late. He wasn't in the original series. It's not looking good. Her dad was in a band with that guy
and my dad's
was in the Tomorrow People.
One episode of the Tomorrow People.
Yeah.
So think about my dad. So my dad was in a band when he was 17. He left it when he was 19. He grew up in Dagenham. He was very sad being in the band, and they didn't have any kind of chart success. So now, though, it says on my Wikipedia, Sara Pascoe's dad was Derek Pascoe from Flintlock. And people go, so were you a millionaire? Did you have one of those sheltered lives, and that's why you're a comedian now?
Well, but also your great-grandma was a Rosa Newmarch.
So did you just look at my Wikipedia page?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's how I
You've
start.
met me and we've done gigs together.
No, that's where we start.
Yeah, so Rosa Newmarch, so she's really interesting actually.
Yeah.
So she's my great-great-grandmother. Her husband was very ill in a time where women couldn't really earn money and you couldn't have property or anything like that. So her husband's very ill. She had to do something to raise money. So she brought over Russian composers from Russia, and that was the beginning of BBC Proms. Was that and so her letters have been sold at Sotheby's or to Tchaikovsky and people like that, and she's got a prize in her name at one of the music schools for £100.
It's not bad. Not many 19th century people on Wikipedia, and she's got her own entry.
Yeah.
Do you think she ever met Rasputin, and do you think she had sex with him?
You're so obsessed with Rasputin.
Do you think that... I am obsessed with Rasputin, and do you think you're related to Rasputin?
It's the big expose.
Yeah.
Yes, she did have sex with Rasputin. I was up in the loft one day, and I came across a chest, and it said, "Do not open," in Russian. And I opened it, and it was all of the pictures that they'd drawn of each other. This is back before sexting. So if you wanted to send Rasputin a sexy picture, you had to draw it yourself and then send it by carrier pigeon, which is what she did. And yes, I'm 1/8 Rasputin.
I feel that you were mocking me. I like Rasputin, and she was in St. Petersburg in the 1910s, so she might have seen him.
Running past.
He liked running around. No one else is as interested in Rasputin as I am. Okay, we'll do it now. We'll get out of the way. Though I thought, again, I always worry with female guests about going to dirty Brit confessions.
So
Brit
treat men and women
confessions.
differently?
Well, I just worry. I only worry about it. I don't treat them any differently. It's just, the only difference is I don't care with the blokes. But a lot of the things that come up on there towards women aren't as amusing.
Oh, I see.
That's all I'm worried about.
Okay.
They're just a bit more graphic. But yours aren't. Yours are all right. Yours... I don't know if that's a compliment or not, that the people who fancy you are quite
I write a lot of
amusing.
them myself. This is something comedians do. Comedians do this in groups sometimes, looking at each other's on this, so you have to make sure you've got some.
Yeah. I haven't had one for ages. I kind of assumed people would keep putting them up just to get read out on my podcast, but they don't. It's too far to go. Even to pretend to imagine having a fantasy about me is too much. Okay, this one I would actually listen to both a Nickelback and a Calling album 10 times over if it for some reason meant I could have a night with Sara Pascoe.
I would love it if that was the code. Against my will. If someone ever listens to a Nickelback album 10 times, I just materialise. What did you do?
I mean, even if you don't like Nickelback, that doesn't seem like that many times. It doesn't like, oh no, I've had to listen to Nickelback 10 times, so I get to have sex with Sara Pascoe. It just seems slightly insulting to me.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, I took it as a huge compliment.
Should be something hard. Should be something harder than that. I'm prepared to spend 6 hours of my time listening to some records I don't like.
Oh.
It's not that good, is it?
What I'm getting from this is that you might like Nickelback.
I don't like it. I don't even know who the Calling are. That sounds.
What do I?
Do you know
who the Calling are?
Don't worry about it. Are they better or worse than Nickelback? They're better, but some people say worse. Is anything worse than Nickelback? I don't. Similar. That's the guy who put the thing on the Brit Comedy Fashions, clearly. Okay. Sara Pascoe's eyes make me wet. Which sort of suggests to me like that they're just sitting underneath you and you're crying. Is that? Have you
I cry on people.
Yeah. So, and this is, I think, again, this is I'm imagining that's a woman, because I don't think many men would say.
It's not
if you ejaculate in your own trousers,
you would be
technically you
soggy.
have become wet. I have never done that. I met Sara Pascoe once. Sorry, it's just weirdly written. Now, I thought she was gorgeous on telly, but in person, she is 1 and then 17 noughts times more beautiful than I could ever comprehend a human to be.
I know, that makes me worry they didn't meet me. They met Kylie Minogue.
If we both swung that way, she could have taken me right there all night long.
Woo!
If we both swung that way.
How do they know I don't swing that way?
I don't know. Well, I presume they know that they don't swing that way.
That's
and yet
only
they
half
find
the story.
They find you like a trillion billion times more beautiful than any other person they could imagine even. They comprehend. That's kind of insane to think.
It is insane.
Yeah.
Do you think these people are kind of hyperbolic about everyone? Or do you think they do pick one person and like them? What do you think?
I think they, mainly, I think the one who talked about Santa Claus, I think is the same one.
Yeah.
Who wants Steve Keegan's penis in a ribbon and... I can't remember who the other one was now. But no, I think they're very sincere. And are hoping their dreams will come true. And I'm hoping, as a sort of 21st century Jim will fix it, I'm hoping I can make those...
And also, as a woman in her 30s with low self-esteem, I only ever want to sleep with these people now.
That's pretty nice to someone to say. I mean, it's sort of weird. 1 and 17 noughts times more beautiful than I could ever comprehend a human to be. It sort of sounds like they might not be human themselves.
You think a puppy wrote it?
Maybe it was an alien of some kind.
Yeah, could be.
I never thought I would find a human attractive.
They haven't got enough heads.
But also, it doesn't say how little they comprehended a human. Because if they thought like the most attractive a human could be is 0.0000000000001%, then you're just 1%.
Yeah.
So
but that's still better than all other humans, Richard. I'm still taking the
you're
compliment.
still top of the human. Great. So let's go into an emergency question. I asked foolishly, just threw away a brilliant. It was a terrible emergency question. You're going to have to subscribe to them. I asked the asparagus one, the asparagus wee one backstage, because I thought I can chuck that away. Nothing ever good comes out of that answer. You would not. I'm literally going to go on Facebook and put, I asked this woman about whether a wee spells of asparagus. You will not believe what happened next.
And you will click on that and be disappointed.
As you are with all of those things. No, I think there would be, my audience would be amazed. So you're going to have to subscribe for £1 a month to hear that answer. What a shame. Let's ask the new emergency question to you. Would you rather, if you had to choose between dating,
what
I'm going to say, I asked it
dating.
to Coogan in a slightly ruder way. But the date would end in full sexual
So for me, it's more romantic.
Yeah, there's some romance. It's usually dating.
So I have to be seen in public with this thing.
Yeah, that's true. Would you rather date a man, as I think you know, who's a 6-foot penis? But
I have dated a 6-foot penis. 6'7", in fact.
Was it Stephen Merchant? I mean, it's quite. There aren't many of them around. Most of them have been on here. I can give you like 2.
Greg
others.
Davies is 6'7" as well. Also not him.
Okay,
also
good.
not
I was
him.
going to go on to Greg next, so to speak. If it was a man who was a penis, but he's 6 foot tall, he's got the penis has a face and a mouth, so you know you can kiss the penis.
Oh, lucky me!
And it will kiss you back. And it's like it'll talk.
Richard, what are the downsides to this scenario?
And it's a really massive penis. I mean, just too impractically big. Mm-hmm. Or a man who he's a normal man, but instead of penis, he has a tiny man in his trousers that has
a mouth and a face.
Yeah,
can that little man talk?
He can. Yeah, he has his own personality. They're not really connected in any way apart from the obvious.
Yeah, that guy with the tiny man.
Yeah, everyone's gone for that. No one has yet gone for the gigantic.
Okay, Richard.
Penis.
Seriously, what am I supposed to do with that guy?
Have a chat with him, see how you get on, see what he's. Don't just judge him because he looks. You're like in the film The Elephant Man, all the people who just go the Elephant Man. What about the penis man?
Okay, if there were 3 choices and one of them was the Elephant Man, I would have chosen the Elephant Man. What are you supposed to do with a 6-foot penis man?
Talk to him.
Talk to him. And what kind of life has he had? What kind of shared experiences do we have?
I don't think you've got many shared experiences. That's what makes him such an interesting date. You can go... I mean, at what point, if you were... I knew you'd chosen the other one, but if you were dating him, at what point would you bring up the fact that he was a 6-foot penis? Would you mention it in the date?
No, he would know already, having lived his entire life. I presume he's going to be around the same age as me. He's been like in his mid-30s. Yeah. And so he knows he's a giant penis. As we've walked to the restaurant, people have shouted from the other side of the street and out of cars, "Oh, you're a dick!" Literally, mate, like an actual like that. So, and he's supposed to pretend he puts his collar up on his coat and then goes, "Oh, so where did you go to school?" And then I'm like, "Oh, yeah, did you have a nice time at school?" No, everyone kept making fun. Back then I was a small penis, but in school uniform. He's going to have had a terrible life. Also, do I want to have children with somebody? And let's face it, that's why we're having dates in the first place. I'm 33 years old. Where is this going? And are your genes going to mean I have a baby penis? Come out of me. And then I have to have pictures taken with it and introduce it to my family at Christmas. No, it's going to have the same miserable life as you. No, thank you. Oh, you've just got a little man on you. Let's have a chat.
That is quite a good answer. I will give you that. It feels to me like you've been asked that before.
I spent my entire life thinking, what would I do?
Were you ever rude to any celebrities when you were young? When you first met Pete, did you?
I think
obviously you
meeting celebrities is very odd. I don't know. I mean, you may be more used to it than I do because you react in a way. Your body reacts in a way as in this person is familiar to you already. I know this person, and you don't. I worked on stage door at Wimbledon Theatre once for about 4 months, and I never got used to the fact that celebrities came into. David Tennant came in to visit Richard Griffiths, for instance, or Martin Clunes came in once, and you react. You want to say hello, and you can't, and then so instead you go bright red, and they know why you're going red, and you go, "Oh, sorry, I'll just call for him now. What's your name?" Like knowing that you both know exactly who they are, and people are so nice, but it must be very difficult for people. I used to, when I was, because of how my mum and dad met actually, so my dad was in a pop band and my mum used to stalk him, and she used to sleep outside of his house, and she eventually waited till he wasn't in that band anymore and got with him. She waited out all of the fans, and so I thought that was how you got a boyfriend, and I picked Robbie Williams as my person, and so when he left Take That, he came to London, and me and Cheryl, my sister, ran away to meet him, and we slept outside the Big Breakfast in Stratford. He was guest presenting to meet him, and this is an interesting aside, but I then, when I was 19, accepted a job working with his dad, because I thought, his dad's a singer, and I thought, if I work with him, I'm definitely going to meet Robbie Williams. And my obsession in my brain was always that I would bring him back down to earth, because I could really see his insecurity and how he doesn't want to be shouted at that people love him all the time. He just wants to be made beans on toast and understood. And so I was really sure that I'd be that person, that I'd be so blasé with it. So I worked with Robbie Williams' dad. This is in 2001. And last week, it's on tonight, this is a side, but it won't be when your podcast is out, it would have already been on. I did Nevermind the Buzzcocks, and it got to the line-up round, and they went, "Sarah, go and stand in the line-up." And I was like, why? And they made me put on a T-shirt saying, I am Sara Pascoe, with all these other blonde girls. And then they brought out Robbie Williams, his dad. And he sat in my chair and had to try and remember which one I was. With the whole introduction of, she worked with you to try and meet your son, did you know? And he was like, I had no idea.
And did he recognise you?
He'd been watching the record.
No, that helps.
So he faked it.
Okay. And did you meet Robbie Williams?
No.
You didn't even meet
But
him?
I'm glad I didn't now. Because imagine if I had met him and he hadn't fallen in love with me. Now the lie I can tell myself is he met his current wife and she sounds amazing. And I would not want to get in the way of that with our true love.
Have you seen the film Sliding Doors? It's a really good film.
Yeah, it's I have seen Sliding Doors.
Because like, if different things happen, different things would then happen afterwards.
Hey, there's a whole knock-on effect.
It is,
Every time we get on public transport, guys.
Yeah. Or near any sliding door, or just doing anything. It's not just about sliding doors.
And that's what's not fair, is that there should have been other doors in that film, because there are other kinds of doors, revolving doors.
Yeah, there are.
If that's broken and you have to walk through a different static door, that's wasted 2 seconds of your time.
Yeah.
Oh, different life.
Or
What could have happened if you'd got straight through?
Or you get in a revolving door and accidentally revolve round.
Ah, you're already outside the building.
Then you have to go back in again.
Or you've already met a guy
Yeah.
who was outside who you would have missed because you would have been signing in at reception. Hey, do you want to write a film?
Yeah, I do. I've got quite... Can we call it revolving door?
Can we call it
Revolving
different
doors.
kinds of doors?
Yeah, different kinds of doors and the impact they have on different future events, depending on how and when you enter them.
And the poster, and hey, guys, stop laughing, this is really good. Also, the poster should be an advent calendar and on the tube, and then people can open the doors and see who's behind there. Yeah? Christmas Christmas
What
2016.
if they open the door and there's chocolates in there? That would be good.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking from my own point of view.
You would like a little chocolate.
Some free chocolate.
Would you eat a chocolate you found on a poster on the tube?
Yes. I would trust it. If it was advertised in the film, different kinds of doors that are entered in different ways and lead to different future events.
But exactly what a murderer would do,
Yeah.
a murderer would see their advertising campaign and go, I'm going to put poison chocolates in there. Yeah. And then you come along, someone's already eaten the genuine chocolate and you've got the poisoned one out, now you're dead.
But then that's a new film in itself, isn't it? That's the... So, you know,
that's the sequel.
The thing with Sliding Doors, I can't believe there was only one of them. That's why Peter Howitt from Bread, he just rested on his laurels, thought, yep, done that. Just do a film about a different thing happening from the original Sliding Door. She misses that tube and then gets on a different tube. It's all about the girl. What people don't realise about Sliding Doors, the actual thing that changes history is the girl on the stairs on the way to the tube. There's a girl on the stairs, and Gwyneth Paltrow's running down the stairs, and in one reality, the girl gets in her way, and the other reality, the mum pulls the daughter out of the way.
Yeah.
So that film should be called Little Girl.
Little girl.
Moving little girl.
Moving.
Little girl who moves. I don't know, you get a lot of DVD sales for different reasons. Very funny, aren't you, youngsters, coming here with your proper jokes? Sorry, I'm just pretending I'm a Mock the Week.
Have you ever done Mock the Week?
I haven't. I've never been. I was thinking.
Would you like to do it?
I don't know if I would like to do Mock. When I was talking backstage about which I talked with James Acaster last week about the Mock the Week that they did recently with quite a lot of younger comedians.
Yes.
In it, which did feel like a different vibe going on and improved it. I don't really like it as a programme, but mainly from the past when it was much more gladiatorial and stupid.
I had it in my head right from beginning of starting off being a stand-up and realised I wanted to be a stand-up, that I wanted to be on that show.
Right.
So there are some comics who look at it and think, oh, I didn't want to do it, whereas I'm the kind of comic that you wouldn't think would do very well on it, and that is why I wanted to do it. I think I really had a chip on my shoulder. I wanted to prove that you could be good and entertaining, but also good-hearted and not making jokes about victims or easy jokes about weak people. Or I'll never talk about people's appearances. I'll never call fat people fat or old people old or denigrate a politician by what they look like. And I had such a strong ambition to be on there and go, see, it's okay. You don't have to be like this. Whereas some programmes, they have a strict formula of how they're made, and they will only stay alive if they allow different comedians in. Like James Acaster, who's so brilliant, and I'm sure you guys were very comedy savvy and you know, but him on that show, the producers were so shocked as in like, how is he so funny? It's like, because you haven't been to a gig for 15 years. So you don't understand.
Well, what's quite interesting about all of those things, because all of those shows started about the same time as I started doing TV comedy, and they're all still there. And they're all, and even a lot of the new ones, they're all created and written. Sorry, some of them are written. By
But hey, we scripted this earlier, so...
yeah, we completely scripted it. I can't believe...
You got your lines wrong on the sliding doors thing.
I can't believe... you can't just remember the name of that film which twice in a row without having learnt it very carefully. You know, it's the same guys, and they do operate to the same, those formulas, so that's fine. But like even the guys who are the regulars on Mock the Week, from what I've seen, you know, they come up with the same sort of formulaic jokes because they have to, because they do it.
Well,
every
actually,
week.
I'm always really impressed by them. So people approach comedy in lots of different ways, and actually they have to be so up on the news, and they also have to kind of maintain themselves as a character, but they have pages and pages and pages, and often a show that's between 22 minutes or 28 minutes is recorded for 3 hours, and in that time the people who keep it going, quite often the guests, you pop up once every 15 minutes and say a thing, and in an edit it looks like you talked, but they are just going through streams of stuff that they've prepared, and if someone like Dara or a host on a different show has a 20-minute riff that ends up being amazing, all of that stuff is thrown away.
Yeah.
But and they consistently work on it, and it's a real craft. It's something to really respect, I think. Although I know other comedians maybe don't.
I think it's I don't not respect it. It shouldn't be the main thing that comedians end up doing on TV. I think.
But most comedians don't do it.
I know most of them don't do it, but it's the only avenue now. So again, when I started, those panel shows were on the side, and you would be able to do sketch shows or stand-up shows, and now it's like it's panel shows, and maybe occasionally one of those people will go and do a stand-up show out of that. So that seems unfair. I think that Mock the Week, it felt like for someone who likes to do sort of the bantery stuff of playing off other people, it didn't seem ideal for me. But I haven't ever been asked to do it. Yeah. I haven't been asked to do most of them, because I was talking about podcasting to someone, to a journalist the other day, and I only ever even got on Have I Got News for You and Buzzcocks after I started podcasting. So for 20 years, I never got on those shows. I've never done Live at the Apollo. When you look at some of the shit that's been on there, I find it quite insulting. I've never even been asked. I was asked when it was Michael McIntyre. They said I could come and audition to be on Michael McIntyre's roadshow at the Comedy Store. Yeah. It was on a Monday, so I couldn't do it.
So you didn't do it?
No. Ah. So Monday I was doing this, so I couldn't do it. But also, fuck off.
Yeah.
And I've gigged with Michael McIntyre, so he could say whether I could do it or not, so whatever.
But it is an odd thing. So whenever the people who make these kind of shows, as we all know, but they do approach comedy like there is a formula, it's a science, and quite often that is a kind of an algorithm of youth and new plus people that we trust and people that we represent, and it is always baffling. So you say that, and I think, God, that's so weird that you haven't been on those kind of things, and so and obviously there must be some kind of resentment there, or.
I don't know. I was sort of surprised that I eventually got I think maybe I would resent it in the 90s when I wasn't being. But then I was sort of surprised when I got invited on, and then it sort of very quickly stopped. I was on Have I Got News for You twice, thought I did okay. I was on Buzzcocks twice, thought I did okay. But there are so many people. I'd rather it was more people. I genuinely think, Mock the Week, that you don't need the regular people there. Yeah. They can come in, they can be in there 4 times a series or something, but there's no need to have the regular. Let's get shitloads of people on it, and as long as you have a few people who've done it once or twice, the new people can. I think the first time you went on, it kind of felt like there was Gary Delaney was on. Yeah. It felt like quite a supportive.
Oh, really supportive.
Atmosphere.
Yeah. So Gary, he was really, really helpful beforehand. The warning they tell you on Mock the Week is the audience don't know you, no one will laugh at you, but it's a TV programme, not a gig. So what you mustn't do is die inside if every time you speak it's tumbleweed. And you have to go like. Like when no one is laughing at you, and so Gary was so kind, and obviously because he's married to Sarah, they're such a supportive kind of powerhouse. They want everyone to do well. Yeah.
No, well that's not. But it does feel, but that it sort of feels time. And even speaking as an older generation comedian, it feels time that it should move on to be the. Because also there are so many new comedians coming through. Yes. I mean, just ridiculous numbers. So it's really hard to get a foothold and get anywhere.
Yeah, and there is a trickle down effect. I know lots of people complain about TV being the only way you get But lots of the people who would be guesting on these kind of shows now still play gigs all up and down the country. We're not hugely touring. We're not taking ticket sales from other people. What we're doing is making kind of little local gigs, hopefully fill up 1 month so that people go back for the next 3 months. Hopefully it does kind of keep the industry flourishing in some ways.
Well, I think maybe, but I think I think you just need to do 2 or 3, do well on 2 or 3 of them, and I think it will have an effect. I mean, you've done the live at the Apollo as well, haven't you? And so, unlike me, I've been going for.
Actually, I've done it twice.
30 years.
I've actually done it twice, so I feel a little bit like I should have said, "Hey, maybe you should ask Richard Herring." The second time they called, like, guys, I've done this now.
I did the Russell Howard's Good News, that slot that they have for new comedians. I did.
Don't you get paid £1,000 for 15 minutes of material?
I can't remember.
But they. Can you not remember?
I can't remember.
Isn't that your production company? That your agents are...
It is my agent.
Yeah.
Yeah, my agent's right. That's how I got the job. And I did, and I actually think Russell was like a fan of mine and Stu's. So I think it was actually Russell.
So he's still trying to give you a leg up,
Just
is he?
yeah. But that was
nice.
That was one way, because I went on and it was all 16 or 17-year-old girls and young men, and and I went on and did my filthy stuff about anal sex, and they were all kind of staring at me like.
People that old still have sex.
But I just, and they didn't get it. There was really nothing in the room, but I just did it. I just did it all to the camera and did it as if it was working well.
Yeah.
And then it looks really good.
Yeah.
So it's exactly.
There are some people who tell you, especially into like live the Apollo style gigs, if you have an amazing gig, right, as in like the audience, you feel like you're flying. The audience clap after jokes, and you can't help it. Your face goes smug, and because you have to wait for the clap. Those ones look awful on television. Because you're watching at home going, why are they clapping something about beds? Why are they clapping this? Is this shit? But whereas actually if you have quite a bad gig, so you keep your pace up and it edits together and a big clap at the end that they've added on, and then you watch at home going, all right, okay, I see something going on there. So it's actually better, you want to have like a quite bad to mediocre gig.
That's why that's why they should have me on. I can do that. So let's talk about sperm, because you've talked about.
Let's talk about
you've
sperm.
talked about sperm, because I wrote this book, Talking Cock. I don't know if you've read it, but
not
you
yet.
can buy it from GoFasterStripe.com.
I will do.
I might. You can have that one.
Can
for
I?
free. Yeah.
Can I really?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Will you sign it for me?
Yeah, of course. I'll draw a big cock on it. That's what I do.
Thank you.
But you talk about in your current show, you talk about the Kamikaze Sperm,
yes,
which
sperm
always
selection.
Fascinated me. There's loads of there's loads of fascinating stuff about the history of it, which I think I haven't seen your show, but my wife has talked to me about your show. There's lots of.
Your wife saw my show when I did it to 6 people on the day of the World Cup final, and that is a sign of a real friend.
She loved the show, but that is kind of it is interesting, this idea that within. Sperm, there are sperm that have evolved in order to kill the sperm of other men.
Yeah, so they didn't know for ages. So men have 2 kinds of sperm, kamikaze and egg getters. Kamikaze have got a shorter tail and they can't fertilise an egg. So they look like this byproduct, and they didn't understand what they did until in tests in labs they mixed together semen from different men, and suddenly these kamikaze guys woke up and started attacking the other man's egg getters. And then this is where they realised that actually there are hormones that a man can secrete that make his sperm more aggressive. And they form, if a man thinks that his partner is cheating or sleeping with other men, he releases this hormone, and his kamikaze ones can become like a ring around the cervix waiting for whoever comes. It's so amazing. And so obviously, this has gone on for millions of years. We've evolved from a kind of ape. So what's so interesting about sperm selection is that women, our female ancestors, used to have sex with lots of different men throughout the evening, and inside her, sperm fight, and the one that will create the healthiest child based on her DNA is the one that makes it to the egg. And all of the Victorians, people like Darwin, were Victorian. So all the Victorians were Darwin, which means that they were Victorian. All the first anthropologists were Victorians, people like Darwin. So they ignored all of this because they didn't think that women were sexual. They thought that we were coy and that we were nurturing. And so now science is just finding out that actually, in terms of history, women have a whole dynamic sexuality that involves fancying lots of partners, not just being attached to one, which is the kind of current model. It's really interesting. Look it up on the internet.
But also in the 90s, it was really late that they realised that women had anything to do with the actual reproduction of the baby. So the idea, in the 19th century, they believed that men just planted their seed in the soil of a woman,
so
and a baby would grow out.
Aristotle came up with this first of all. He said women were soil that a man planted his seed in, and then so that only men were related to their children. Yeah, they didn't think it was anything to do with, which is why people like Henry VIII. So he kept having his wives killed because they couldn't have male children. Didn't realise that was in the male sperm.
Same with Chris Eubank.
Chris Eubank. He had no idea. Yeah, he had no control of that. So it's the male sperm that decides what gender the child is.
But it's kind of insane that when you know that maybe in Greek times they thought this. In the 19th century, it wasn't until they looked and went, there's an egg in there as well. They thought that there was an homunculus. They thought that a sperm was a little man that you would just plant and it would just grow into a man. Like a baby, first of all. We're quite sort of Benjamin Button, otherwise, isn't it? That's not a nice birth. Giving birth to Benjamin Button.
Unless you really fancy Brad Pitt.
It'd be a bit like having a 6-foot penis in you, I suppose. Yes, well, that's. It's kind of fascinating. It's as close as science gets to saying all women are whores. Basically, the killer sperm. That is as close as it gets. Let's go in. We have to have these because all women are whores. So there has to be the killer sperm.
Well, women are definitely sexual, and I think that's something that any of us now would say, that's so obvious. Where we have urges and horny periods and fantasies and this whole world going on, but actually. Even like back to our parents' generation, that wasn't an acknowledged thing. And that's what's really scary, is when you go back even 50 years and realise, wives were at home desperately sexually frustrated, never having had an orgasm with the man that they'd married. And then everyone going, she's hysterical, I wonder what's wrong with her. Fucking hell.
It's all scary for everyone. It's the idea that men would be having that kind of sex with their wives as well. That wouldn't be...
But they were so repressed that they didn't know what to do, or they were too scared. They would never look at their wives naked. All of that, all of the shame around it. It's really sad because it ruined people's lives.
Well, my wife has an amazing routine about the creation of vibrators, and which I can't go into. It's her routine. It's good, isn't it, though, Katie? It's interesting. It's interesting. It's an interesting routine. Check it out when she does her next show. I think that's the only time you're going to see it. I realised I was going to start doing that. So, more. We have a lot of. There's a lot of crossover between you and me. You are obsessed with. I've read an article about swimming lane etiquette annoying you. The etiquette of swimming lane. I am really fucking obsessed.
So I don't drive. Do you drive?
I do drive.
Okay, so because I don't drive, I've never had that experience before. Of being very, very irritated by bad manners, by people, slight things that you can do that make everyone have a nice time. And and when you're swimming, all you want is just to be in the zone. You don't want to have to be always conscious of other people and their bodies. And so, it can be difficult. What's your thing?
Well, I just hate people not obeying the rules of it and not working the slow, medium. Yeah. I could honestly do a whole podcast, I think I have done, about this. Yeah. But it's like, so if you've got to judge it by the people in the pool, not by your belief of what your standard is.
So different areas, I don't know if you've had this. So if you have a gig outside of town, you might go to their swimming pool, and people have different speeds. So Colchester, where my mum lives, their fast lane is like Swiss Cottage is slow. Yeah. Swiss Cottage
That's what people
slow.
Say.
It's Colchester's fast.
In Colchester, essentially, the really lazy sperm in an ejaculation. They're all like those ones that kind of have two heads.
Yeah. They had a laptop on there too long. Whereas Lewisham, where I live now, I'm a fast medium, and I'm not. I'm a Swiss Cottage slow.
I'm slow, but but sometimes I'll judge it. Sometimes it's all old ladies in there. Then I'm super fast.
I know, but this is the thing is I feel really bad about it because when it's older people or overweight people, I know it's so great that they've gone swimming. It's so great they're all here, and I hate myself that I resent them for swimming wonky. And being in the way.
Swim in the right. And I do it when there are arrows in the thing. Obey the fucking arrow. It doesn't care if you're the only person in the lane. Obey the arrows.
Yeah, obey the arrows.
Because what if two people suddenly get in? I hate it when two people get in and there's arrows and the other person goes, should we just divide the lane into two? No.
Do you say something to them?
Yeah, I try to. I did it. I usually let them do it.
Yeah.
But,
that's exactly.
But then I can't swim because then I'm thinking as I'm backstroking down the wrong way up a thing, someone else is going to get in and not see me and swim into me. And what kind of disaster will that be?
So I have found it's so much better. So first of all, you get angry and then you have to stop yourself. And then you stop and go, hey, can I take over you next time? Or, hey, should we all go the same way round? And then it's fine.
Is it?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Or my mum swims much more than me, and she, how bad is this? She will tell the lifeguard to tell them off. She'll be like, excuse me.
I've had that though. I've had a lifeguard come and tell me off and make me move to the slow lane.
Yeah, I've had that.
When I am in the right lane, and like there was 3 people in the middle lane, there were like 5 people in the slow lane, and I was faster than all the people in the slow lane. I was a bit slower than the 2 people in the middle lane, but I was still in the correct lane.
Suing purgatory.
I was still in the correct lane. Then she asked me to move down. I said, "There's 5 people in the slow lane. That's insane. Get them people who are fast in the middle lane to move up to the more empty fast lane.
Yeah.
If you're going to do your job correctly.
Or get the people from the slow lane.
Don't
put them
come
in
at me. You don't know how much I think about this. I'm in the right lane. I've swum 1 length as well. It was like it wasn't like I'd done 5 lengths. People were going, I'd done 1 length. She came out to me. Can you move to the slow lane? I was just that was my warm-up length.
Did you say that?
Just got going. You can't judge the speed yet. As it happened, it was quite a fast one. But you're not to know that, mate, till I've done 10, do an average of the speed,
She would have known
work
from the
it
way
out.
that you breathed when your head came up. She would have known if you were like...
No, my head's always above the water, so that's a telling tale.
You don't put your head underneath. In the slow lane, mate.
I can go pretty fast.
No, you can't.
But if it's all really slow people in the slow lane, you've got to change.
I know, it's awful.
Well, we could talk about
know, but it
this.
is,
Let's talk about this for the rest of the podcast.
No, it is. It's a philosophical dilemma. Would you rather be the fastest person in the slow lane or the slowest person in the medium lane? What would you rather be?
I would rather be correctly in the medium lane. Sometimes the fastest person in the medium lane is the slowest person in the fast lane. That's what they can't accept. They're thinking, I want to be the fastest person in the medium lane. That's a sad aspiration.
There are days when I love being the fastest person in the slow lane. I like lapping people. Like, it feels great.
But there's loads of people in one. Come on, balance it. Just imagine. Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Dealing with the important things.
So your boyfriend is
yes.
also a comedian.
He's a brilliant comedian.
Well, let's not go that far.
My boyfriend is brilliant.
Yeah. Well,
And a brilliant comedian.
Has he been on Live at the Apollo?
He's come to
Because
watch
that
me at
means
Live
he
at the
is good
Apollo.
if he has not been.
No, he hasn't been on Live at the Apollo,
Okay.
but he's really brilliant. I met him from being a comedian.
Yeah, that's
So-
the same thing happened with my wife, who
Yeah.
is also a comedian.
How did you meet Katie?
I met her at a gig the first time I met her.
Yeah.
And I thought she was great.
Yeah.
And then she's quite shy. I remember her. I really liked her and wanted to talk to her afterwards, and I think we talked a little bit. And then I remember her sort of standing there and thinking, oh, "That's nice." And
Yeah.
then she suddenly disappeared, and then she wasn't. And it was
Ah.
like it was a little bit like the story of Cinderella.
Or sliding doors.
Yeah, it was like it was a bit like sliding doors. And I'd really like, but this was about 9 months later. But I remember really liking. I remember she said she might come see my Edinburgh show, and I was really excited that she was going to come and see my Edinburgh show. And I was sort of looking through and I only in hindsight realised that she didn't come, and she had something better to do. And then I went to this, and then I saw her again, and I kind of just completely was head over heels in love with her to the extent that we had to be together. And then you're with someone for 7 years. Go, oh, why did I get so overexcited? I could still be single.
Yeah.
It'd be great. No,
No, it's brilliant. I think that's what's nice is being able to trace it back and realising, even though consciously at the time,
Yeah.
but there's always little kind of like asterisks going, oh, I'm noticing you, I'm aware of that person.
Yeah. How did you meet? You met her just at a gig.
We had done a couple of gigs, like a year apart, but we had a very long car drive, which is usually horrible with another comedian. So we were 5 hours from Machynlleth to Leamington. And I remember having a really nice time in the car, and it was a really kind of sunny day. And then I'd only seen the side of his face for 5 hours.
The thing about him, that side of his face is really nice. With one side of his face,
Yeah.
when it's the left-hand side,
it's the
it's
left-hand
really nice.
side.
But when he turns around, oh, he's not. He's a very attractive man.
He's a beautiful boy. So that's what happens. Then we got out of the car at Leamington, and I remember getting my pads out on the table and getting my bag, and I had a wine, and then I looked up at him, and it's the first time I'd seen him dead on.
Yeah.
And then I just realised, oh my God, I'm in love with him. It was that, and he remembers me going bright red and thinking, what's she blushing about? And thinking, I'm about to tell him I'm in love with him after one car drive.
And did you tell him? Or did you hold it in?
Hold it in.
For how long?
A whole Edinburgh preview.
Wow, did you? And then after the preview?
We had a long drive home.
And then
Yeah. Do you know what, on the long drive home, he said to me, have you ever seen the Harry Potter films? And I said, no. And he said, we should have a sleepover, we should do that. Yeah. there. Sleep over at a boy's house.
It's quite a creepy... If he'd been in the car with me, it would have been a very different outcome.
Tiny Hermione
Do you like, which
hands.
is your favourite house of the whole of all of the?
Do you know what?
houses?
I'm not arrogant enough to say Gryffindor.
No.
No, so I wouldn't. I would say Hufflepuff.
Oh, Slytherin is my favourite.
No, it's not.
It is,
You're just
'cause
saying that to be edgy.
I don't like. I don't like Harry Potter, so I bought a Slytherin notebook to show how I don't like it.
What a rebel. I'm sure they threw that £10 in the bin.
It was £17.95.
It's been £18 at a notebook.
To show I didn't like Harry Potter after having just been round Harry Potter World. And I drank a butter beer, then I didn't drink the rest of it because it wasn't very nice. So that showed J.K. Rowling. I just left it on the side. Bet she's furious.
Can we use all of this in our Christmas film, Doors? Because I feel like there should be a character who doesn't have to go to Harry Potter World because they missed a train.
Yes.
Yes. And they save £50.
But my wife really likes Harry Potter, and your boyfriend really likes Harry Potter.
Uh-oh.
That's who should be together.
And
That's
they're
what's
both
gone wrong
here.
there. They're both sitting in the darkness there. Anything could be going on.
My boyfriend was really laughing at your thing about Hermione hands, like too much. Too much.
I'm happy to give it a go. I'm happy to branch out.
I'm not happy with this.
No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't technically be cheating because it's a fantasy. It's only like if he's. Do you count him masturbating himself as being cheating on you if he's thinking about something different?
Okay. This is a real.
Than you.
This is a real. Yeah, it's a very difficult conundrum. But I'm just imagining me coming home, putting the key in the door, opening the... This could be in the Doors film. Yeah. There's a door here. Yes. If I couldn't find my keys, I missed it, and I come in, you're just both having biscuits.
I'd make him come really quickly.
Okay, so you've come... So if I find my keys, I open the door, him masturbating alone... Hey, I'll go to the kitchen, or me coming, you're there, with your hands on his penis, going, no, it's okay, it was basically a wank.
But to make it clear, because I'm pretending to be Hermione, I would be completely covered in sheets. So it would just be so that because John would be, if he was me, and he looked up, and me caught eyes, I'd stop, and he would go, well, that's not the experience I was hoping. But if all he can see is his own, if he looks down, he sees his own penis and exactly Hermione's hand.
Okay, so the reason I feel bad now is that my boyfriend has come along tonight because he wanted to come and watch and support. Yeah. And now what he's been subjected to is you acting out a masturbation fantasy. Yeah. Are
you saying that I've committed some kind of sex crime here? But I thought,
no. But
right?
I know exactly what my boyfriend is thinking right now, and it is, I hope my mum doesn't listen to this.
It's unlikely. Though I might just send her the clip of this bit. Let me know if you're interested, though. I'm pointing over. I don't know if you are over there. Let me know if you're interested. Just imagine you have to imagine that. It's 50 quid a throw. That's
and that's 4 more notebooks for you.
This notebook's very close to an end. I am going to probably I might try and sell this on eBay.
Oh, yeah?
To try and raise funds. Okay. If it's less than £17.95, I'm going to be really upset.
I bet you get less than you paid for it.
It's possible. What I should have done was got everyone who'd been on the show to sign their page. Didn't think of that. Because it's got all the Edinburgh Fringe ones in there. There'd be hundreds of different, lots of different. And one of them would be Stephen Fry and Steve Coogan. That'd be worth some money, wouldn't it? Really good. Him signing a thing. I know his email address. Steve Coogan, yeah.
I saw. I listened while I gave it to you.
I could give it out now. I think that would be a betrayal of trust.
You'd be up at the Leveson inquiry. There'd be a whole separate one.
This is it, because you are a vegan person who does not eat any animal products or animal things. If a
I don't know why you're laughing at this very serious topic now, Richard.
Let's say I thought something much ruder than this. If a bee deposited some honey on something, you wouldn't eat the honey because that's come out of a bee.
Oh no, so bees and honey is one of the question marks for vegans. Okay. So you have vegans who eat honey because we're a fun gang and we have distinctions for things. So my rule with honey, I'm a very laid-back vegan. Some vegans will say I'm nowhere near strict enough. My rule with honey is I don't buy things intentionally that have got honey in them.
Right.
And I don't buy honey itself.
Things that just honey spilt onto.
No, like Flapjacks and breakfast cereals.
Like in a supermarket, there's a high shelf with honey on it, and underneath there are some croissants, and then someone's knocked over the honey. I'm not saying you've done it, but someone has knocked over the honey, and the honey's dripped on. You'd eat those croissants because because
they've got butter in there.
Yeah, and if a cow had died on near those croissants and been cooked. And that just fell onto the croissant.
I was in Norway 2 weeks ago, and they said to me on the way, they said, "Oh, Norway's very difficult to be vegan, vegetarian." And I said, "Okay." They said, "But there's one vegetarian restaurant." So I went there. It's in Stavanger. It's a vegetarian restaurant. In it, I ordered a vegetarian salad, and it came with a beef burger on it. And that's how difficult it is.
You can't be too strict with these things. So your life goes. But what I think being a vegan, I used to be vegetarian. Yeah. Then I kind of thought.
Did you? Do you feel? How does it feel now when you eat meat? Does it still go through your mind? Did you completely forget?
No. I like to. Now if I get meat, I will eat all of the meat.
Yeah.
Because I sort of feel the thing has given its life and its root to not eat it.
Yeah.
I generally got to the point where I thought I don't care about this enough to put people through the hassle. I think I slightly enjoyed putting people through the hassle, going, I'm vegetarian, so you have to cook something different from me because I'm special. I did care about it as well, but I thought to myself, I don't believe in this enough to make that difficult for people. And it was like in the time when it was a bit more difficult. I also just thought I'd like to eat meat again. I also thought I'm not saving any animals' lives by doing this.
Oh, so I think the opposite.
Well, because it's not like if I don't eat that meat, that the farmer goes, oh, we didn't sell. All right, off you go into the wild. Enjoy your go. Well, there wasn't any call for you. Off you go. All that happens is that cow doesn't ever exist.
Yeah, but it's not that literal. But I tell you what does happen is, we all vote with our money all the time, depending on what we buy. It's actually the biggest way that we vote now because corporations are so important. So every time someone buys a vegetarian substitute, you make that market bigger. Every time you go to a whole food shop or someone that has organic meat, every time you create a bigger market, so people start going, actually, we can raise the same money by selling less meat, but they're corn-fed or they live outside. So actually, anytime you make a healthier, more moral choice, it's really important. Although, of course, logistically, that's why people cut you down, going, well, if nobody ate cows, we wouldn't have any cows.
But that's true.
But that's
because it's not like the farmers are going to go, well, let's have some cows to be nice.
But that's like saying if all human beings lived in prison and were murdered at 13, but we're still alive, isn't it?
Well, that would be preferable to never existing. I think that's the point.
I don't think you've ever been in prison or murdered.
But it'd be nicer. You don't know everything about me. But I think I would prefer, if the choice is never existing and existing, I would prefer to exist in as nice a surroundings as possible.
Really, so if I said a species to you of animal would only ever exist in a zoo, and you think that's better than not existing, do you?
I think it is. I would prefer it if all the animals lived in the wild, and and I would prefer it if I don't like the idea of animals being killed. I think, and I didn't really want to get into this. I was going to ask about ham hands, but it's it's an interesting to think about. But I just thought I don't care enough, and I think life's about pleasure to the extent of not harming anyone, any other people, especially, and certainly not kind of being AA girl and going, I'd go and shoot a monkey just to see if that feels all right or not, because that would be a fun way to live my life. That's not okay. It's not. I think so. The idea of killing an animal to not do anything with it is bizarre and horrible. Yeah. Or but I think the pleasure that eating meat gives me, I think, is enough for me to personally.
So I think being aware of what you're eating is really important.
Yeah.
And I think that's something you've cracked. In Australia, Aboriginal people, they hunt for meat, and when they kill something, they sort of say a prayer, like an equivalent of a prayer, thank you to that animal giving up its life. And I feel that that's a really important thing, because obviously so often food is food, and you don't remember someone killed this animal, something died. So I think that's quite an important part of it.
Yeah. And I have a feeling that in 20 or 30 years' time, it'll look completely... Just logistically, people won't eat as much meat as they do.
I think people already really realise and think about where their food has come from a lot of the time, or people who have the luxury to think about it. I think people don't want to be unkind. No. It's just our bodies were made to consume a huge amount of protein very quickly, and meat is the way of doing that.
It is.
It is.
Plus, it's delicious. But if you had... I'm not going to ask the full question, but as a vegan, if you had a hand, if you had a choice, someone had given you a magic choice between having a breast nipple that produced talcum powder, I think this is the right one, or a hand made out of ham, and you'd opted for the hand made out of ham.
Okay, so this is...
But it's like your own hand.
So it looks like ham, or it's actually from a pig?
Well, it looks like ham, it tastes like ham, but it's grown on your body, and no animal has died to
No,
make
I've grown it.
It's grown out of your own hand, and you can eat it, and it'll grow back again, so you'll still have a ham.
So you're asking, would I eat some of myself?
Would you eat your own ham hand as a vegan, or would you feel that would make you a bad vegan?
I think I would have an operation to make me look normal again. It probably cost $3,000. Just cut around it, make them fingers again.
It would just sprout out again. It would just come. Yeah, it would just sprout out.
So I'm going to be constantly nibbling.
Yeah.
Nibbling around it. Obviously, there wouldn't be a vegan problem because I'm free range, and I've had a happy life, and I would know how I've been farmed. So there wouldn't be a moralistic thing. I do think I wouldn't eat my own flesh.
Right. Even if
just as a thing.
Again.
I know I'm weird.
Well, it's just interesting though, because if just in case that ever happens, it's good that vegans have thought about how they would cope with that. Because I think some of them wouldn't. Michael Legg wouldn't eat honey roasted peanuts. Would you eat honey roasted peanuts?
I have eaten honey roasted peanuts. Yeah. Michael Legg's my inspiration. He's much stricter than I am.
He's a dick.
He's not a dick. I love Michael Legg. I love him. Don't say it. I love Michael Legg. I spent so much of my life thinking, what would Michael Legg think of me if I said yes to this, and then turning things down? And it's really helped me.
He's all right. It was good when he was in that Bollins and Nerin podcast he used to do. That was good. So, God, we can't be going on for... It's been very good fun talking with you.
Thanks. That's like the end of a date when someone doesn't want to see you again. So, this has been fun. You've got my book.
If my wife ends up going off with your boyfriend, I'll have a second date with you.
I haven't heard either of them laugh for ages. I feel like we lost them.
I think we maybe got on our own again, but never mind. You were... you've done Celebrity Squares. Has that been on yet, your Celebrity Squares?
Mine was the first one.
Oh, was it? I haven't seen it. They brought Celebrity Squares back.
Okay.
Though officially, I think they should be calling it Squares.
Okay. Yes. So everyone did that programme. I think this is open. It's because they paid very well. And usually for a panel show or something, you get about £1,000, which is a lot of money. That's probably 3 gigs or 4 gigs all put into one, and you use up material or you write and you prep a lot for it. Celebrity Squares is not that. It's more money, and you just sit in a square and someone asks you some basic quiz questions, and you either know it or you don't. And all of us thought, let's take the money, until it came out, and now we think maybe we shouldn't have been as greedy. Maybe just do some more gigs. Do some more gigs.
I don't know, but in a way, sometimes... I mean, the thing with Celebrity Squares, it's quite high profile, but sometimes...
But it's high profile to people who don't want to see you, who watch ITV.
Yeah. Sometimes I've done ones, I think I've talked about it. I did one called Best Man's Speech, which... Have you seen it? Nobody's seen it. I haven't seen it.
What's Best Man's Speech?
I haven't seen it. It's like it was on, I can't even... ITV4 or something like that. It was a reality... It was like a show where people... I thought it sounded like a really good idea, and I wanted to do it in spite of the money, which was really good.
At least we're honest about that, because you can't lie.
But it was just it was a stupid amount of money for like 3 or 4 days' work. The idea was that a comedian would come in and help someone write their best man speech.
Okay,
Which
so
often
it's a nice idea, yeah.
Lots of people kind of. That's what I thought it was going to be. Lots of people email you all the time and go, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm writing a best man speech. What should I do?" And I would usually reply and
Yes.
give them a joke, but also just talk about your friend in a nice way,
Yeah.
and try not to be too rude about them. But I thought it sounded like. But then it was loads of sort of stupid stuff. So the guy I did, he had to pretend he had 2 broken arms. Which sounds like the thing that serial killer did to get women in the back of his van. So I think that's where they got the idea from. But then they couldn't do that bit because, he's just... Well, actually, his friend's getting married. It's not even him. So, that could be the way he finds his girlfriend. So then it was sort of standing outside a pub and then he had to ask people to help him answer his phone.
Oh.
To give him confidence.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things, and then I think we went to an old folks home where he had to tell some jokes to some old folks, but it was a little bit like, look at all the crazy old people, they're not going to get what's going on, and so it was a bit like, oh no. And on the first day it had been all right, and Dave Gorman had been asked to do it as well, and I texted said, yeah Dave, it's all right, it's don't worry, it's fine, it's good. And then the second day I kind of went, oh. It's not really not, but Dave Gorman had agreed to do it by then, so it was too late to save Dave Gorman. But we did. It was, but nobody saw it apart from that man. Did you enjoy it?
Not really,
no. No. Okay.
but your intentions were good.
I love the way he cheered when he went, "Hey, I saw that." Well, I didn't. It wasn't terrible, but I did not enjoy it. I want to make it clear. It was bad. It filled 45 minutes of your life that you could have spent doing something worse. You could have wanked yourself off pretending you were Hermione.
I knew the sister-in-law of the person you get married to.
Oh, you knew the sister-in-law of the person he was getting married to. So literally, like, people from the wedding watched it. That was the viewership. So for them, my career is white. But even that guy, he's forgiven me. 10 years on, he's gone, oh, okay, all right, he's got Steve Coogan on. I'll go and see him, see if he's got any better. Thank you. Well, thanks for watching. But he's literally the only person I've seen it. So it kind of felt like...
But also, you do it for good intentions. And also, when I was kind of starting as a comic, I would look at the decisions that people had made. And everyone has got at least one thing, like, and it turned out to be shit. Or, the wrong thing. Everyone's got one. And then you learn from that lesson and you become more selective, or you realise, oh, okay, if I'm following my live journey, I don't have to kind of.
But was Celebrity Squares really that? Because it's just a throwaway bit of TV. It
is
really
a throwaway bit
matter,
of TV. I get very upset with negativity on the internet, and I think some people are really, really good at going, who cares? I don't know these people. And there's a kind of thing. Someone sending you a horrible tweet to you is like someone shouting out of a car. Like, it's not really personal. They don't know you. It's just an idiot, and they might be very young or very drunk, and I think sometimes they don't know how upset you are, but I don't like it, and it really upsets me. And people really didn't like Celebrity Squares. But Michael Legg loved it.
Did he?
So it's come see, come Sara.
So I go back to what I said before about Michael Legg.
And I got a free pen.
You got a free pen?
It writes really beautifully.
And how does it?
Yeah.
That's nice.
It does make a difference.
It's nice when they give you a present. Most of them don't do that.
I love a present.
Did they give you a present, or was it just the pen you got given to write your notes?
A pen and a notepad with my name engraved in it.
You just stole the pen and the notepad off the...
No. They were gifts. I love it when you get into a dressing room and there's presents in there.
Well, it doesn't happen very often. You're obviously doing very well. Seriously, it's a level that I ever get every now and again. Well, this is my career. I dip into that level where I see how the proper comedians live.
Free shit.
You kind of go,
time.
fuck yeah. Like when I did Dave's One Night Stand, where I wasn't the main one, I was Al Murray's friend.
Yeah.
And so I got to be in his one. So I was doing 15-minute routine. They gave like a mini iPod, one of those iPod shuffle things. That was the present.
That's amazing.
I would have done the gig for that. That's amazing.
That's amazing.
And there's fruit in the dressing room and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, it's lovely.
And then most places you go and just go, there's a pack of crisps.
But I still get that with like free crisps.
Yeah, so do I, unfortunately. That's the I generally, even when I'm on a diet, if there's free food,
absolutely,
I go back to being like, so if there's like celebrations or something.
Oh, yeah. So even while being a vegan, and it must confuse people backstage, because my boyfriend is just a vegetarian, not vegan, I empty whatever they've got in terms of celebrations into my bag. So they must come in and go, vegan, my ass. She's eaten 50 chocolates.
Cool. Well, let's... have you ever seen a ghost? I bet you have.
Well, Why?
Because I just reckon you've seen a ghost.
I've never seen a ghost. I've really
You
wanted to
have.
see one. I read a book when I was about 12, which was about how all of these levels of existence are going at the same time, and a ghost is actually someone living on their level, in their dimension. So they're just walking across a field, but you see them walking across the room.
Why do they keep going?
Because it was a wobbly field. So I really, really want to. I think we all create a narrative or a construct of how the world should exist. And for some people that's aliens and ghosts, and it's a really fun world to inhabit. And other people it's God and it's saints and it's exciting and it's fun. But I've never seen a ghost. No, I've seen loads of spiders. Yeah. And if I was a ghost, that is exactly what I would look like.
You'd come back as a spider.
That would scare you so much more than a...
Well, if I was a ghost, I'd come back as a exact representation of myself made out of spiders, that once you'd seen me, they'd all go and then attack you. That's what I'd do. If you could do anything, why not do that?
I'd love that if that's how you came back to visit your mum. I wanted to know I'm okay in the afterlife. But I can still see her and feel things.
You get to come and go, oh, hello, it's me, Richard Herring. You better, that'd be fucking cool.
Really good.
That's why most of the ghosts are pathetic. You've got this power to come back.
None of them are made of spiders.
They aren't. That would be a good thing to. And have you ever seen a Bigfoot?
No. But I did go up with a guy who was 6'7".
Yeah.
He had big feet.
He did. Let's leave it there, and we'll what we'll do. Just let's say that with conviction, and we'll put a big laugh on the end.
No, I liked one person going. Leave that on.
But I tell you, the asparagus wee thing, amazing. It's changed this video will change your life if you watch that. I'm going to do one more. It's been fun though. I reckon we could carry it. It's one of the ones that I sort of just feel like sometimes, honestly, you get to this stage. I mean, people are feeling it a bit, but you get to this stage and you just think, oh, it's gone on way too long. But this one hasn't got to that. But also, usually, if you push on through, it gets really good again.
It gets good again. But I think that's people saying, now can we go? Yes, now, go. You've got your big laugh.
They're allowed to leave whenever they want. Oh no! Now they realise they're going.
But they do studies on attention span.
Yeah.
And I do think over an hour, that's it. I need my own time again. Please now, toilet time.
We talked about the serious
people.
bit too early. We could do the serious bit now.
What's
and
the
then
serious bit?
We talk quite seriously about panel shows and stuff.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, well, like without it was a serious conversation.
Oh yeah.
Like a grown-up conversation two grown-ups would have. But Steve Coogan's at home now.
No, not back to home.
He is at home by now.
No way. It's a slow train this time of day.
There's a novel.
He'll be 3 Bridges.
He's got the place.
Just past Hayward's Heath.
The place Steve Coogan lives has a novel about it.
I've seen Steve Coogan's house. I
Have
didn't
you?
say this when he was here. I went to university in Sussex and live around the corner from him. And this is when he was still drinking and doing drugs. I used to go to the strip clubs a lot. But you didn't hear it from me.
There's a slight problem with that. Well, if we're telling Steve Coogan stories now, I'm not. He's allowed his privacy to live his disgusting life.
Hey, so this is what I did. So you know Hacked Off,
Yeah.
his group? I got asked 2 weeks ago if I would perform for Hugh Grant's birthday.
Oh.
They said, so it's organised by Hacked Off every year. Hugh Grant, it's his birthday, and they have that as their yearly celebration. And it was as a trick, because he's not a feminist. So they thought they'd book a feminist comedian as a fun trick to see how he handled it and make him put on a No More Page 3 T-shirt. Ha 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 ha.
Oh, no.
And when he put on the No More Page 3 T-shirt, he asked, oh, have you got a wet one?
What a shame. Because when I did, one celebrity gig I did was, which I've discussed, I apologise for repeating stories, but it was for Theo Fennell, which is this big jewellery store, and then Elton John, every year Elton John, who's their main customer, they have a big celebrity party, and they're in the store where earrings cost, this was again 10 years ago, £100,000 for 2 diamond earrings, whatever, and more than that. So they get all their celebrity top clients to come to see this, have a big dinner, and then they have an outrageous piece of entertainment. So they had Puppetry of the Penis one year, and then one of his minions had seen Talking Cock, the show, and gone, oh, this is a brilliant show. But then they made me come and do like 5 minutes of it to over pudding to all these celebrities. And I wasn't even doing stand-up at the time, you know, like in that way, so I wasn't used to doing those kind of gigs, and it didn't really work.
No good comedy has ever happened where someone else has been eating pudding.
No.
And you said, surprise, can I talk to you about cocks?
But out of Posh Spice was there just looking at me like, all the way through. Elton John started talking very early.
She was just hungry for pudding.
He might be. But Hugh Grant was the only person who laughed to begin with. He was laughing and was really nice. And so I quite liked Hugh Grant because I thought, but it's because it's all about cocks. So that's what he felt safe, didn't he, in his sexist world.
I'm sure he's a really, really lovely person. It's just an odd booking to get like ha 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 as a prank before we get a woman with opinions.
Yeah, but it's sort of
he's not going to know what's hit him.
It's sort of similar, but it's like the Wolf of Wall Street. Have you seen this film?
No, I haven't. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to see it. I wouldn't like it. I've seen Gone Girl. Have you seen Gone Girl?
Have I seen Gone Girl? No, I haven't. I've got to that stage where I have to ask, have I seen that?
But you should go together. Go together. It's so thrilling.
Okay. My wife's read the book. Every time we see...
read the book.
Every time
it's
we see
better if you've read the book.
Every time we see the trailer for it, my wife says, I've read the book, I didn't like it. And then I say...
I didn't like the book, but the film is better.
And then I say, what happened? And then I go, did he kill or didn't he? And every time she tells me, and every time I forget what she said.
So
I can even though I've heard 3 times what happens in that film, I can't remember.
It's too complicated.
That's the great thing about being 47 years old. Seriously, I'm just watching BoJack Horseman for the second time in about 3 months, and I can't remember anything from the first time I saw it.
So you're saying this really flippantly, but if you've seen the film Iris, you'll know that this is a very early stage in something that we might now all look back and go, he did try and tell us. his mind was disintegrating. And we were like, ha, ha, ha.
But in The Wolf of Wall Street, which I wouldn't say is a particularly feminist film.
No.
Even it could be, because it could be going, look at these load of pricks, and then the women could have some, but even right through to at the end when he's talking, there are a few women in the room, he's still talking about, you going back to your girlfriends, you're doing this, he's all doing that, and then one woman goes, you gave me $25,000 to help my kid go to school. I love you, Wolf of Wall Street, you are the best. It's pathetic.
Are you a professional actor?
Yeah. That's a very good impression.
Really good.
Well, they have entertainment where they kind of throw a dwarf at a dartboard and they're kind of discussing whether he'll die and they don't care. And they have a thing where they've done well and we've got Tracy from the Counts and she's agreed to shave off all her hair for $10,000. So it's awful.
But the thing that's awful is...
But it's like our gigs it's like these gigs. It's like rich people
but the real banker lives people. That's what's awful, is you're going, isn't it awful, that horrible horror film that actually is based on reality. The real people live their lives that way.
But these people get to that powerful position, and then so both your story of you being sent someone as a joke, and my story is me being there as like it's like a medieval jester. Oh, he's going to come on and do something outrageous. Oh, but the Queen of Elton John doesn't like it, so none of us are going to enjoy it now. So it's about the humiliation. It's about paying someone to kind of mildly humiliate them for your entertainment. It's a bit horrible, isn't it?
We got paid. I don't think anyone feels sorry for us. We got a story and we got paid.
If you do too many celebrity squares, though, you'll end up having that kind of money, and then you'll...
My dream is to be all of the squares. All 9, whoever they come to, back to Pascoe.
It's all very interesting. So that was the serious bit. We talked seriously.
Yeah, we did talk seriously.
About feminism. If I have to come down one side... Which is it when you like the feminism? Is that feminist or sexist? Which is that? They're so similar, it's difficult to know. I'd like to see myself as a sort of sexist feminist.
You stuck up for me on Twitter. I was saying, John, on the way here, so you stuck up for me when a man had said that there should be more women on panel shows, and then said that I was part of the problem of why there aren't women on panel shows, because when I'm on them, I was rude. And you stuck up for me, and you said...
Dick, that guy.
But you pointed out very well. You said you've come so far around of not being sexist that you're now sexist again. Yeah.
When he sort of decided, he said, it's ridiculous. There's one woman on the show, and then he's criticising material, and it's like, well, you said, so you want women on, but you want to then police their material, which is true. And then it's just, it's like he was trying to be so right on that he kind of lost himself.
Yeah. Our right to be there is to be as bad as any of the guys.
And it was good, that bit about spraying on the toilet seat anyway, so fuck off. Anyway, yes, people don't know what we're talking about. Go look through my Twitter feed if you're that bothered. Go back 4 months to look at that. Because it was... with those panel shows, what gets me, I really like Would I Lie to You? I think it's a really great format. But there's absolutely no reason on earth why that shouldn't be 50-50 men and women. In fact, there's women are fucking liars.
Yeah.
So there should be loads of them on there. But B, that would make it much better if it's men and women, because it's many different people, different types of people. But that would be there's no reason.
I think it's really hard because actually, if you're one of those people who is a producer, people really do believe that no one will watch your programme unless there's famous people on it. So you'd always much rather have a TV presenter of either gender than somebody that people haven't heard of. And it is difficult because actually parlour games, anyone could do them. Most panel shows, anyone would be good, edited down, riffing, being witty occasionally. It's not rocket science. No. But they think people tune in for a certain person that they like, so
they have some odd choice. But nearly everyone's good on it because even you get someone. They have 2 comedians and 2 celebrities right on that show. Like 2 celebrity people and the regular guys who are all good but are all
really
men.
Good, yeah.
So they've got a very good relationship, but it's a shame they're all men because they don't need to be. They can't help it. They are.
That's it. I was going to say.
I mean, I reckon David Mitchell you could turn into a woman pretty easily.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, then it would be, then if they can still have, if they just chopped off his cock, he doesn't probably even use it anymore.
Women aren't just men with chopped off cocks.
Just chop it off.
That's not what we are.
Fashion it into some kind of
We're not
groove.
cockless men. We're a whole different thing.
It would look, it's not a perfect world, but it's a step in the right direction. I'm trying to help.
Women and eunuchs on panel shows.
I'm trying to help. I'm going to go to the producer of Would I Lie to You, point out about the lying women thing. They'll go, oh yeah, good point. Let's have all women on. And then they go, no, hold on, because then everyone will know they're all definitely lying because they're all women. That's probably the reason. Because men never lie. That's the other drawback with it. I'm like Dapper Laughs.
Have you read Lee Kern's thing that he wrote about Dapper Laughs?
Yes, I have.
Isn't it brilliant?
It's
so brilliant.
Is.
What he pointed out so well is that people argue that it's snobbery when it's not, it's ideology, and that people do have a responsibility. Sorry if neither of those names mean anything to you, but it's really brilliant.
They don't really know Dapper Laughs. I like the fact that the headline of it is "You have created an almanac for rapists." I just like that's the headline. Go to Chortle and there's
Huffington Post. Yeah,
you've created Dapper Laughs has created an almanac for rapists. I just don't think it's an almanac. To be honest, it's like the idea that a rapist would go, I must get my almanac. I think most rapists would go to some kind of Rapepedia or... I don't think I must find I must find a 19th century version of how to do the thing I want to... I'm not going to come into the modern world. I'm going to get an almanac. That's my favourite thing about that.
Is it?
But the fact that
I don't think you really got the point of it. I'm going to say that.
I've got distracted by every time I say it. I enjoyed reading the article. It's still there on the front page. You've created an almanac for rapists. Does this predict what will happen to the rapists in the future? Is that what it is? The coming year for the rapist? I think this is brilliant stuff. I can't do it. I can't do it anywhere. But yeah, so there should. There's someone who laughed in a very weird way back there, like a kind of elf would laugh, like that makes me think. Now I've been quite tired, which I'm overtired, which has led to this abomination at the end.
Has this become an episode of Twin Peaks?
And I think a little elf has appeared at the back. It's working. He doesn't even know he's on his own. Everyone else has gone home. He's just sitting here still talking alone. Maybe we should go home. Fucking hell. It's been very nice talking with you.
I've really liked coming here. Thank you for having me.
Good luck with you and all the young comedians. I don't care if you do replace me. I'll just carry on. I can carry on doing this. It doesn't matter that I'm
You
not.
have a brilliant career, and I always find it odd when you are... I don't know if it's self-deprecating or if you genuinely sometimes think... But I mean, everyone respects you. Everyone would love to be where you are.
I know. I'm brilliant. I'm very... no, in a way, in a sort of lying to yourself way, I am...
Like a woman.
Just I'm very like a woman. I'm very happy about my feminine side. No, it is. The thing you want, I think, as a comedian, I think if you're a proper comedian, is that autonomy to do what you want to do. And if you can do that on Celebrity Squares, then that's good. But if you can do that on TV, that's an amazing thing to do.
But no one has it on TV. You have it because people come to a gig because they want to see you.
Yeah.
That's the only autonomy you have.
I think Stuart Lee genuinely has the proper autonomy.
Who's that guy?
I don't know. He's a guy. No one watches it, but it's apparently a really good show. But he don't know. He's battled very hard to get to a point where he has complete control of what he's doing on TV, and that is.
And also, I think as well, in every generation, there are very few spots for that in terms of television. But in terms of the live circuit, you just want to be some people's favourite comedian, and then that's a huge achievement.
Yeah. Am I your favourite comedian? I'm not even. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Sara Pascoe. Fantastic. How'd you like them sky potatoes? Hi, hope you enjoyed my podcast. I am Richard Herring. That's the in case you're wondering who it was for the last hour. Hello, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, why not go to gofasterstripe.com/sale? And there's an amazing sale going on. You can buy Talking Cock the book for £3. That's just stupid. And loads of my DVDs for £4. Some of them are £6. And loads of other stuff there as well. Gofasterstripe.com/sale or gofasterstripe.com/badges if you just want to contribute a bit of money. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Come back next week. You never know what crazy adventures we'll get up to next.